Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. And a very good evening to everyone. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Azman Hashim, yang berbahagia Tan Sri Muhammad, CEOs all, ladies and gentlemen. I had hoped that somebody will come up here and speak first and give me time to catch my breath. But no such thing for me. I am invited to talk to the CEO Forum 2012, and it is about realizing Malaysia's true potential. At the moment it is not true, it's an untrue potential so far, but we are going to find the true potential. And specifically, I'm supposed to speak about post-general electric, no, not general electric, first general election, 13th general election, post, after that. And I'm supposed to be able to see into the future. But I'm just a normal person who can only see with a very short-sighted eyes, needing glasses. So my vision of the future may not come true at all. But nevertheless, if one wants to do something, one must plan. And when you plan, you are trying to look into the future. And Malaysia is one country that is plan and plan and plan. We have 5-year plans, we have 10-year plans, we have long-term perspective plan, and finally we have the Vision 2020, a 30-year plan. So we are people who actually can see 30 years ahead. But of course, it's not what will happen in 30 years that matters. What we do now in order to achieve the vision that we have identified, targeted for ourselves. Now, Malaysia is a democratic country. Not many people believe in this. But I think it is democratic because we hold elections every 5 years without fail. Even after 1969, when time was up, 1974, we had elections, not more than 5 years after 1969. So, to me, Malaysia is democratic enough. We don't like Malaysia to be too democratic. You know, when you are too democratic, even when you produce annoying films, you cannot ban it because that is freedom of expression. So a little bit less democracy would do good for a country. I said this to the Indians when I was in New Delhi. They asked me, what do I think about India? I said, you are too democratic. You should lessen your democracy a little bit and you can achieve more. Just look at China. China has made tremendous progress, came from behind India, overtook India, and is now well ahead of India in terms of wealth creation, in terms of industrialization, in terms of governance even. That is because China is not too democratic. So we feel that there are limits to democracy, and if we don't handle democracy well, we'll have to pay a price. Particularly with regard to the choice of governments. If you look at governments, you will find that where the government is not too smart, even if the country is extremely rich, it's not going to make any progress. So we need to have a smart government. But that is your choice. In a democracy, you have the right to choose your governments and basically to determine your future. If you choose the wrong government, I think you are going to have to pay for it. I always cite the case of China. You look at China today, of course, it is the factory of the world. It produces practically everything that can be manufactured. And China's trade balance is always in its favor. Not small like ours, but huge sums of money. They have such big reserves that Europe is asking them whether they could help Europe. Now, if you look back, during the time of Mao Zedong, he was a great leader. Of course, he united and practically conquered China. He set up a government, but he was obsessed with ideologies, principally the communist ideology. There were so many things that people cannot do. You cannot do business, no private business. All business must be done by the government. People must work for the government. They will have to wear blue coats and trousers and no other color. All kinds of restriction was imposed by the government of Mao Zedong. Off and on, he would stir up some feelings in order for people to let go and vent their feelings. Thus, the Cultural Revolution, for example. But the country itself did not prosper. It was truly a third world country, very backwards, not even producing steel in the conventional manner. He decided that steel should be produced behind your house. Each one should have a steel mill behind the house. And of course, this did not work very well. And China remained poor. The people were uneducated, unskilled, and unable to make progress for China. Now, when Mao Zedong died, he was succeeded eventually by Deng Xiaoping. Now, this is a man who doesn't care too much about ideology. His favorite phrase, or the thing that we remember about him, was the fact that he said, it doesn't matter whether the cat is brown or white, as long as it catches the mouse. Which means that it doesn't matter whether it is communist or capitalist or whatever, as long as China prospered. And sure enough, you see the change that took place when this leader, still a Chinese, still a communist, came from the same country, but he made such a tremendous change because of his leadership and the government that he sets up. Because of his views and his ideas about governance, China changed completely to become what it is today. A great manufacturing center, very rich, having huge trade balances in his favor. And where before the Chinese were not allowed to leave their country, today Malaysia alone receives 1 million Chinese tourists a year. Of course, some of them disappeared in the process.